Love dairy but can't consume it because you're lactose intolerant, watch this video. I'm going to show you 8 hacks so that you can still consume dairy even if you're lactose intolerant. So I want to give you a quick story. I'm Latvian. I'm from the Baltic states of Northern Europe, in Latvia, Riga. And if you've ever been to any of these countries, any Slavic countries, anything like that, you'll notice that they consume a lot of dairy. You'll walk into a Rimi and it'll have quark, kefir, milk, sour cream and all sorts of food. In fact, it's a staple from the country that I'm from. And so my grandma could handle dairy absolutely fine. My mum could handle dairy absolutely fine. And then all 3 of her children become lactose intolerant. How does this happen? This happens, I believe, because of pasteurization. So Louis Pasteur played quite a big role in germ theory and the way that modern medicine is made today. And he suggested that we pasteurize milk, which is where you heat the milk to kill bacteria because of things like mad cow disease from the 1800s. And so over the 20th century, we've started heating milks more and more and more. And now it's pretty much impossible to buy raw milk, which is where the milk isn't heated at all. In fact, to sell raw milk in shops is illegal. It must be, in the UK at least, it must be sold directly from the farmer, and they have to do rigorous testing on it to make sure it has no tuberculosis, TB, or anything inside it. So the process is ridiculous. You can't just get milk straight out from an udder and drink it. Now, why this is important is because when you heat milk, you destroy not just the bacteria, but you destroy the enzymes inside it as well, such as the lactase enzyme. And the lactase enzyme is what metabolizes the lactose. And so you should be able to drink it, and there shouldn't be a problem with the lactose because it's metabolized already by the lactase. But it also inhibits a lot of nutrients inside milk as well and makes a lot of things inactive inside it. And so pasteurization pretty much destroys milk. And so I believe that the reason that so many people are lactose intolerant today when they weren't in the past, including me, when dairy runs from a bloodline, is because when there's no lactase enzyme and milk is pasteurized, over the number of years, your body starts to build an autoimmune reaction to lactose. And so every time you drink lactose, it triggers an autoimmune reaction, such as, well, some people get really bad shits, but other people get stuffed nose, hives, skin issues, anything like that, bloating. And so this plays quite a big role. And so I'll basically go through these 8 things that you can do so that you can consume dairy even if you have problems with it, because dairy makes life amazing. You get cheeses, all sorts of things. So the first one, you can consume raw dairy. So you can actually buy raw milk from farmers. Now, a lot of people who are lactose intolerant say that they can handle raw milk fine. That's not me. I can't personally drink raw dairy, but a lot of people say that they can drink raw dairy and they don't have any issues. However, raw dairy has far more nutrients as well, so it's very nutrient rich. In fact, it's a superfood. You could almost live entirely off milk because it has so many nutrients inside it. It's a nutritionally complete food. So that's raw dairy. You can buy that from farmers, and you can search on Google. You can find it online. You can get delivery. The second one, unpasteurized cheeses. So you get things like Parmigiano Reggiano, or how a lot of people know it in the UK, Parmesan. And Parmesan is unpasteurized because it's imported from outside the UK. So the laws are that unpasteurized products in the UK cannot be sold in stores. However, unpasteurized products from outside the UK can be sold in stores, which doesn't really make sense, but so you can buy unpasteurized cheeses. So, Brie is unpasteurized as well. And so Parmesan's one. And again, it's a nutritionally complete food and it's great. But the good thing about cheese as well is it's fermented. And when you ferment dairy, that destroys the lactose. So things like Parmesan don't have lactose inside it because A, the fermentation process, and B, because of unpasteurization. So eating hard cheeses that are unpasteurized is a great idea, and I can tolerate them great. I love Parmesan. I can eat Parmesan by the stick. It's a superfood. Next one leads on from what I was saying before, fermented dairy. So things like kefir, sour cream, or even Greek yogurt. The fermentation process kills the lactose, and so you can consume these things. At one point, I had huge jars in my house, all over the kitchen, everywhere. It was like a scientific experiment. And I was making my own kefir. I was putting raw milk inside it. I was putting a starter culture, and I would leave it for like 3-4 days, and then I'd process it out myself, and you get this kefir, and you can drink it absolutely fine because it has no lactose inside it. So those are your options: kefir, Greek yogurt, or sour cream. Another one, whey protein. So whey protein is actually a byproduct of fermentation. When you ferment something, all the fermented like kefir and stuff will float to the top, whilst the whey will stay at the bottom. It's like this clear liquid. And so when this clear liquid is dried, that's where you get whey left over. And that's how we get whey protein. So whey protein is by nature free from lactose. However, some people still struggle with whey protein. And that's not because of the lactose. That's because of one of the proteins inside the milk. And that's called casein. So casein causes a lot of problems for people, not for everyone, if you have a casein intolerance. And this is found in casein producing cows. So you can actually find dairy that doesn't have this casein. So the casein that causes problems is called A1 casein. And you can actually get A2 casein, or known as A2 milk. And this comes from Guernsey and Jersey cows. So you might have heard golden milk or anything like that. And this is quite common in stores, actually. You can find it almost everywhere. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's golden, and the fat flows to the top. It's quite nice, actually. This will not have A1 casein. So if you ferment this, or you find raw A2 milk or anything like that, then you should be able to tolerate it. If not, just go to goat cheese, things like feta. But another one, ghee. So if you can't consume butter because you're so intolerant to lactose, you can try ghee. So when you have milk and you clarify it, you start to get cream, then you get clotted cream, then you get clarified butter, then you get butter, and then finally you get ghee. So ghee is almost like an oil entirely. And ghee doesn't have any lactose inside it because it's been rendered that much that pretty much all the lactose is gone. So ghee is probably the best form to consume for butter. So ghee is something you can have as well. Another one is, and I don't recommend this, you can just have lactose-free dairies. There's dairies that they actually put the lactase enzyme inside it, and cheeses. I try them. I eat them every once in a while. And so it's kind of like a cheat to counteract lactose issues. And the final one, you can just buy a lactase enzyme. So you can buy enzyme supplements. So you can get full spectrum enzymes for all sorts of things like amylase, protease, lipase, blah, 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 blah. But you can get ones, and they often do contain lactase. So if you're eating like an ice cream, or you have any form of lactose meal, if you take a lactase enzyme, and I do this, and it works for me, it will actually metabolize the lactose. So that's a good hack. So those are basically the things that you can do to enjoy dairy if you're lactose intolerant. Yes, I'll see you next time.